Good morning, Porsche gents. Let's go for our first drive together in my 992 paint to sample Brewster Green GT3 Touring. Set 6-speed manual. The, what do they call it? Exclusive manufacturer interior, which is Cohiba brown. This is pretty much my life's pursuit right here, is this car. So let's go for our first drive together. So we'll obviously have to get it up to temp. Let's go for a little spin. So the car has 172 miles on it, of which I put 150. So I have driven it a little bit, but not much. And part of the reason for that is that this is a $300,000 plus car. And for those of you who don't know, I struggle with obsessive compulsive disorder. And let's get my temp set up here. And my final frontier I've been working on is having panic attacks during driving. So we're going to go for our first spin into this thing here today together. But I have been making lots of improvements. I have a 5-prong plan that I'm working on. One of the prongs shows up this week, my cold plunge. So I'm excited for that. But I've been doing much better. So now I feel like I'm good to drive this sucker down the road with you. And then it's time to start messing with it. I can't leave well enough alone. I'm going to start messing with the car. So this has carbon ceramics. I opted to do the paint to sample Brewster, not carbon roof, because I figure if you're paying 12 grand for paint, I'd rather have more paint and not have the carbon roof. But normally I would have chosen that. I did black trim on the exterior, but I did the platinum or the regular silver wheels, not platinum wheels. So that was I think an important distinction or important choice was to choose that. Let's go out to the left here in order to I normally like black wheels, but this car looks darn black half the time, so I prefer to have this with the dark exterior and then the lighter looking wheels. I got to get up to temp, or we're just going to go for a nice little cruise. So this thing is carbon ceramics, the full extended exclusive manufacturer interior. So I actually did the leather steering wheel, the leather shift knob, leather on the steering column that comes with the package. Even the darn manual comes with leather. It's a pretty awesome spec. Obviously the manual option is the way to go in this car, especially in the touring version. So I don't have the big wing. It is pretty much perfection. There's not much to do with this car as far as modifications go. I'm not going to mess with lowering it. I'm not going to do wheels on it. I'm just going to do the Dundon exhaust, which I have sitting back at the garage, which I'm going to put on this week, maybe next weekend. So right now it's bone stock. I did detail the thing, which if you watch that series, it was not an easy thing to do. The thing took some serious work to get the paint fixed. Now I should probably put it in sport mode. It's not auto rev matching for me. So I like to drive with sport exhaust, and then the suspension on regular. So the thing to keep in mind with the GT3 and GT4s is that when you push the sport exhaust button, it does nothing. So if I push this button right now that we're driving, we're at idle, or we're beyond idle, there's no difference. This is the frustrating part. So right there, the valve's open. Now the valves are closed again. So the common misconception is that when you press the button that it frickin' does anything. The only thing it does is when you're sitting in the garage and you're at idle, you're not moving, then we have the exhaust valves open. And for those of you who just rock a stock exhaust on a GT3, man, it takes all the fun out of it. I think you really need an aftermarket exhaust. And for me, the only one is Dundon. On this car, I'm going to try out the titanium center muffler. But I love the sort of gentleman, the nasty gentleman. I even wore my church clothes for you here today. We're going to church after this drive. I love the Dundon version of the exhaust. It's just crazy. Sounds awesome. Not the mini crack pipe or the crack pipe that drones, and it's not. I'm telling you guys, it's not the right choice. It's then too freaking loud. If you're a track only, I get it. It's lighter, maybe makes another couple of horsepower, but generally speaking, you want the loud center muffler. You want the street headers. It's the best exhaust I've had. Many exhausts. Why don't you just go ahead and pull out there, buddy? You just spin this around here. And what's the oil temp? Oil temp's at 185. So a couple of things that are different about a GT3 manual transmission is there's no lift shift. So I don't have to lift off the throttle to shift the thing, which is really, really cool. I forget, I think it still has, I talked about this in the Evo video, that even with this car being my life's pursuit, I didn't read the manual. I haven't really done much with it other than detail the thing. I'm not sure. I think the manual still has launch control, so maybe I should figure that out. Maybe we'll figure that out on this drive. But the concept is that you can shift the car. And also in sport mode is auto rev match like that. So I didn't blip the throttle there, which I think is really freaking cool. I'm good at downshift rev matching. I'm not good at heel toe, and so I think I like the interference that you get. Gosh, the front end of the now wishbone front suspension, it's freaking crazy. There's a little bit of a trade-off there with it in that you get, and I haven't spent a lot of time with the car, only 150 miles, but I have tens of thousands of miles in GT3s and GT3 RSs, and so I know what it feels like instantly. And there is a bit of a trade-off in that I feel like this car tram lines a lot. You get a lot of just normal driving around twitchiness, but then the front end grip just feels otherworldly, man. It feels insane. Like it's hard to explain what this thing feels like. So right now, with a little crown in the road, there's a little bit of dive, a little bit of chase of tram lining on the road, which I think is probably worth the trade-off. In the suspension changes in the 991.1 to 991.2 GT3 RS, I actually preferred the way that a 991.1 felt on the road. The .2 to me felt a little less planted. I'm certain it's quicker in the right hands, but just driving, spiritedly on a mountain road or on the street, I found that the .2 really needed the DSC controller. It's hard to not lift. It's hard to train because you're so trained to lift off the throttle as you're shifting gears, but it makes it super quick. So there's regular mode, sport mode, track mode. I'm just running in sport mode. And then you have the little wing that comes up once you get up to speed, and so it goes up and down as necessary. It's hard to not lift, man, I'm telling you. You can lift, but I feel like if you're on it, then you want to just stay in the throttle. You can stay throttle to the floor as long as you shift quick enough. So I tinted the windows on this because of how much I love the interior. This sort of brown on green look is like my childhood dream or early 20s dream. I tinted the windows with 70%, so all around windshield included is the XPEL Ultimate or XPEL Prime, whatever they call it, XR Plus. So it's the ceramic heat rejecting film, and it's 70%. But this car goes back to this color, maybe not Brewster specific, but there was a guy that worked for Sound Advice when I was 22, and he showed up and had squeaky brakes, and it was brown on brown interior on green exterior, and his name was Ross. He was head of shrink, so he was head of theft, and so he must have made a lot of money. So he had, I think it was probably just a Carrera S, but he had a Carrera S in green with brown interior. I'm like, oh my gosh, someday that's what I'm gonna get. And then my friend Bob Linton, who he's a big Brewster Green guy, sort of talked me into the idea of Brewster Green. You know, I love the Cayman GTS, but this is my bag, man. This is my thing. Wow, I love this thing. I really want a 16, so a 991.1 GT3 RS to complement this, and I want a white one again. And so my long-term plan would be to get a GT4 RS, have this as my gentleman's around town car, GT4 RS, and GT3 RS. So have those three cars. And then possibly either a 50th or a 991.1 Carrera S. As I move through the Evo and the E36, I'll always keep my E92 M3, but I'd love to just start to build my beloved Porsche collection. Jeez, this car is so, oh man, holy moly. Listen to that. Wait till we get the exhaust on it. I'll be sure to bring you along with the exhaust as soon as we get it done. But man, I love this thing. I'm feeling good though. My plan's working. I'm not nervous right now. It is Saturday morning and there is no one out. Man, so good. So comfortable, so just magical, man. This is like what I'm born to drive. It's so good. So I don't do break-ins. I break it in my own way. Just drive the car. You know, I'm not bouncing off the rev limiter or doing anything stupid. But I'm not doing this frickin' keep it below 4,000 RPMs. And for 1,000 miles, it'll take me 4 years to get there. Holy moly. Touch of the brakes. Holy crap, people. If you haven't gotten behind the wheel of something like this yet, in one of the GT car, it'll change your whole perspective on how a car should be done. To me, this is automotive perfection. I'm not just saying it because it's mine. All you need is an exhaust, a radar detector, some window tint, a nice detailing, and you've got yourself all you'll ever need. Oh shit, I forgot to test out launch control. I think I don't know. Maybe I'll actually read the manual on that. Wow, shifts so freaking good, man. So, yeah, all I need is a little bit more continued improvement in my own brain capacity, my mental state, and I don't think I'll take this car to the mountains, but that's why I need a 16 RS for the mountains again. But I'm feeling much better. I'm in the 220s, 228. I saw 227 yesterday after mountain biking. I'm in the 220s for the first time since 2014, since I started making videos on YouTube. So those of you guys have been around a long time, have seen me, Prozac plump up, and so I'm hoping to continue this fight to get to my younger days. I think 210, something like that. I don't really have a goal. I'm just doing this to feel good, trying to get rid of anxiety from my life. The business is doing great. I'm really learning how to manage life. I got an assistant, and so now I think all of that combined is allowing me to get in my GT3 and do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I'm in love. But I intend to keep this low mile, drive it around town. I'm not going to use it as intended, but that's why I'm going to get an RS to complement this. Can't wait to do a proper courtesy rev. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you soon.